All right, everybody. Chess College, Humanities 2. Coming in on Thanksgiving weekend. Hope you guys have safe holiday planned. Weeks going by fast now. Look at the last assignments. Make sure you're getting that paper. Probably do one more essay next week. And then we'll have a quiz, final paper, and a journal. That's it. No problem. We're winding down. Please do hand in your papers. If you are having issues or you're going to be late, let me know. We can work something out. We're on music still. 20th century music, 1950s exactly. More specific today. And only one element of the 50s music, not rock and roll. That's next week. We're still doing jazz. I hope you guys saw some of those little miniature documentaries I posted. I'll probably do a couple more, maybe one on Miles Davis. If you don't know who that is, you'll know it after the documentary. Anyway, look at the documentaries. It's going to help you write your paper. Okay, so, or not, it's up to you. We're coming out of World War II. I tried to put everything into the cultural context. That's hopefully this class is about. Hopefully you're understanding that by now. What's going on in the culture? And that means everyday events, the news, sports, weather, politics, changing times. What's happening in the culture that creates this artistic movement like jazz right now? Now, jazz started really technically in the early 20th century, but it's changing now. It went to this era of very sophisticated music, big bands was a big popular thing. Then World War II hit, and jazz had a different audience after the war. And it got scaled down the size of the bands to small, manageable quartets, quintets, and the music changed with it. It became more cerebral, more intellectual, not so much rhythm based, not so much trying to have fun and dance. It's more made you think, made you feel, made you. It was the blues. It was everything mixed on top of what was going on in the crazy world that was happening at the time. We're coming out of World War II, the good war, where we fought very evil doers. The veterans are returning home. They're going back to their ordinary lives after they had experienced something extraordinary. How do you do that? You can't just go back the way things were, and things were different. Everything was changing post World War II. We are now in the atomic age, for one. We dropped two atomic bombs in Japan to put the kibosh on that aspect of the war. Hitler's dead in the bunker. The Nazis are being tried for war crimes. We're going to hang a bunch of them. Some of them commit suicide. Some of them escape into Argentina for many years. We're still looking for them, although they're quite old now. Because the atrocities are committed during that conflict. So the music is reflecting this changing times, especially in big cities, New York, Chicago, LA, San Francisco, the usual, where there was a lot of cultural diversity, more so than, say, in the Midwest, although there's a great jazz scene in Kansas City. Absolutely. Because there was a lot of African American culture there. These jazz musicians were playing what they're feeling, what they were hearing in the cities, what they were experiencing coming out of the war. Now we're into another sort of war. It's called the Cold War. We're in a Cold War with the former Russia. Now it's called the Soviet Union, communist bloc country. And we're into that war for probably the next 50 years. Um, some aspects of the Cold War really never ends. We're sort of in a Cold War with communist China right now. Lying, but there's always the musicians are coming out of this time and place in this era of big change is allowing people to go back to college. They're paying for veterans to go to college. They're paying for vets to get cheap loans for houses and cars and to better their lives. These are the good things that came out of the war. We're starting to build infrastructure everywhere. Not yet, but soon freeways, bridges. They're building up the cities in New York. They're growing. America is pretty prosperous right now, and it's on the move with new technologies. Um, Everybody now can almost afford one car. That never used to be like that. Everybody now can possibly fullness to it, but there's also a bleakness to it because of this Cold War we're in with the Soviet Union. It's always in the background. Who and so we start building up our nuclear armaments, and so we start building up our nuclear armament. And who's going to shoot them off? I got these little gnats flying around me. I don't know why. For the other shoe to drop, we just don't know what they're up to. Okay, so now people are feeling pretty good about themselves. Prohibition is over. People are starting to loosen up. Part of that, folks. That's when the GIs came home, got married to the sweethearts, and started having that's called the baby boom. And also,